Now, we work in telly, don't we? So we know all about hot mics. So when things are accidentally picked up on a microphone and you're caught saying things that perhaps you wouldn't say if you knew that the microphone was switched on.
Yeah, it does happen.
It does happen.
However,
you might be saying, oh, I'm a bit cold today, or how's the weather?
Well, that's the difference, isn't it, Ellie?
I'm starving.
Yeah. We wouldn't laugh... I wouldn't find myself laughing about a serious story, particularly if I was in power, surrounded by so many people with phones and cameras. I mean, how foolish have you got to be? And on top of that as well, I think when you see the news about PC Harper, which I'm sure they would have understood was coming as a cabinet, you just think to yourself, you know, what kind of people are you? It's not funny. It's not funny in the slightest. It's not actually worth laughing about.
Originals, I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, there's certain things we're going to laugh about. Obviously, we'll, you know, every now and then we'll have a bit of a giggle about something, but nothing like this.
Well, the reason we're talking about this is because two of the most seemingly competent ministers, I think it's fair to say, in the government, Wes Streeting and Shabana Mahmood, have been caught joking, if you can joke about these things, about Labour's early release scheme.
How are you? You know he's the enemy now, isn't he? No, he's not. When did you think you're swearing in? Tell me when it is, come around, I want to come.
Well, since then, the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has said there was no ill intent, but she appreciates the extremity of the issue.
Meanwhile, Wes Streeting, the new Defence Secretary, has also apologised with a very similar statement.
Very similar.
Hasn't he? Acknowledging the seriousness of the issue too, and saying he hoped people would understand there's no malice behind the ribbing of the new Justice Secretary.
Yeah, they both use very similar language, like ribbing, which is odd, really, isn't it? I don't know how many people would say the words ribbing. Who knows where that might have come from. But anyway, this comes as two of PC Andrew Harper's killers are set to be released early from jail under Labour's plans to tackle prison overcrowding.
Well, the Telegraph newspaper this morning is reporting that Albert Bowers and Jesse Cole, who were jailed for 13 years in 2020, so they've served just 6 years of that sentence, could be released after the manslaughter of 28-year-old PC Andrew Harper.
Well, they are, of course, now eligible for this release after serving just half of their sentences under the MOJ's early release scheme.
Lots to get through with political commentator Duncan Barks, who joins us now. Duncan, can we start with this hot mic incident first? It's actually quite difficult to watch, isn't it? The laughing at something so serious.
It is, and this is a headache for Andy Burnham in the first 72 hours of his premiership, you know. And this is a man who has appeared on our TV screens talking about doing politics in a different way, trying to get more kind of like integrity back into politics. Then you have this story. I mean, the thing that really leaps out, and you've alluded to it, is the apologies from Streeting and Mahmood are almost identical. I'll let GB News viewers and listeners decide whether or not they were written by the same person, but they were pretty quick once this stuff started to circulate and go viral on social media to apologise, which is the right thing to do. You try and shut it down. And for a bit of context here, this goes back to what Wes Streeting says. This goes back to something that Theresa May and Ken Clarke were responsible for in Prime Minister's Questions in 2017. She was Prime Minister at the time. There was a question put to her when she was PM in PMQs, and she basically said, I lock them up, and, you know, he lets them out. So that's what he is saying they were referring to. Again, I'll let other people judge whether or not that is a suitable explanation or not. But this comes at a time where there's a lot of people, I believe, in this country who are looking at what we're going to see later this year in September, where we're going to see a lot of people released early out of prison. And these aren't people who have just, and I say this with respect, you know, done a bit of nicking or whatever. We're talking about people who have committed offences against children. We're talking about grooming, people who have been convicted for child grooming. And on the front page of the Telegraph, it looks like the killers of PC Harper, who are serving time for manslaughter, will be getting out. And I think a lot of people who believe in justice, who believe in law and order, decent law and order and punishment, look at this and just go, what the heck are you doing?
The mask slips, hot mics, cheap laughs, and the betrayal of British justice. There is a moment in political life when the polite veneer peels back entirely, revealing the cold, patronising reality beneath the polished Westminster soundbites. It happened right before our eyes, caught on a stray microphone, and the sheer audacity of it ought to make every law-abiding citizen in this country pause. Senior cabinet ministers, the very individuals entrusted with the safety of our realm and the integrity of our courts, caught giggling and exchanging light-hearted banter about releasing convicted criminals onto British streets ahead of time. Welcome back to Britain Underneath, the place where we strip away the sanitised press releases and examine what is truly unfolding beneath the surface of power. Before we unravel this extraordinary blunder, ensure you hit the subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and join our growing community of independent thinkers. It takes just a second, but it directly supports our mission to hold power to account. Now, let us step directly into the dark heart of Westminster.
Yes, yeah, this is the thing. I mean, I think this is why this laughter between the Home Secretary and the Defence Secretary is so ill-judged. It's that not only have we been discussing over the last few weeks, Duncan, about early release. We had Shabir Ahmed, who we are failing to deport at this point in time. And I've been reporting on multiple Pakistani grooming gang members who have, of course, also been released early from prison. Not under the same scheme, bear in mind, but, of course, have been released early nonetheless from not serving their full sentences. And I think this will play into a narrative that the public will buy, I would have thought, that the government don't care about this stuff. And actually, victims are crying out for justice.
I think you're right. It's a kick in the guts for the families of victims and victims as well, and actually for law-abiding taxpayers. You know, we pay a vast amount of money as taxpayers. We expect people who commit crimes against our fellow humans in society to go to prison and serve their sentence. And this is the polar opposite of that. So it starts to get you into this area where Labour potentially look a little bit weak on law and order. However, what they will say is, well, in 2024, when we came into government, we inherited a broken prison system. There aren't enough places, which is why we've had to implement this early release scheme. And do you remember in 2024 and last year, we saw those really nauseating pictures of people being released early out of prison, being picked up in sports cars and popping champagne corks as well. And I don't know about you, but I looked at that and I thought, this is just, they're having a laugh. And I think it is a problem for Andy Burnham. To be fair, he is quoted as saying before he became Prime Minister, he certainly wants to look at ensuring that paedophiles and those who carried out serious sexual offences do not get out early. But it is written into some recent legislation in order to reduce the prison numbers that these people can come out.
Indeed it is.
All right, Duncan, we'll talk to you again in the next hour. So many of you getting in touch on this one. Martin says this is simply disgusting, from Shabana and Mahmood, another person getting in touch saying, why have you made this about the Tories? Yeah, that's absolutely astounding to me, that they, rather than just apologise and say this was wrong, we shouldn't have laughed at it, they tried to make a political point scoring out of it all. This is Shabana Mahmood saying, a role I once filled and which comes with immense challenges thanks to the vandalism inflicted on our justice system by the last Conservative government. You just beggars belief. Well, a Ministry of Justice spokesman said this was a horrific crime and our deepest sympathies are with PC Andrew Harper's family and friends. Well, in 2024, the country was facing a prison crisis and a total breakdown of law and order, with judges ordered to stop jailing dangerous criminals. This government is committed to public safety.
The issued apologies read like mirror images of one another, unmistakably crafted by the same political advisory machinery in Whitehall. They dismissed the entire episode as harmless banter, a friendly tease regarding the immense burdens of the ministry. But let us call this precisely what it is, a profound disconnect between those who formulate policies in air-conditioned Westminster suites and the ordinary families who must live with the real-world consequences. While ministers exchanged amused glances on camera, news was breaking that individuals convicted of devastating offences, including those involved in the heartbreaking tragedy of police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty, could potentially be eligible for early release under these very proposals. Think about the sheer weight of that contrast. On one side, grieving families fighting for justice. On the other, politicians treating the crisis like a passing joke at a dinner party. Take a breath and digest that reality for a moment.
We're building prison places at the fastest rate since the Victorian era and taking the difficult decisions needed to lock up more dangerous offenders.
All right, well, look, a Ministry of Justice spokesman said this. This was a horrific crime and our deepest sympathies are with PC Andrew Harper's family and friends.
In 2024, the country was facing a prisons crisis and a total breakdown of law and order, with judges ordered to stop jailing dangerous criminals.
This government is committed to public safety. We are building prison places at the fastest rate since the Victorian era and taking difficult decisions needed to lock up most dangerous offenders.
Well, let us know what you think on that one. Your views are coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, lots of you saying that you don't accept the apology.
Yeah.
That's been the resounding thing I've seen here, is you do not accept the apology. And I can understand why you don't. If you actually read the Home Secretary's post on X...
There isn't actually an apology.
There isn't an apology. In fact, the blame is pushed onto the Conservative Party, which I think is astounding. But when you look at both statements side by side from Wes Streeting's X and Shabana Mahmood's X, it does seem like they were scripted from the same broth.
Which then leads to the assumption that they didn't write these posts.
No.
That perhaps they had someone write them for them,
Yes.
which then means, is this genuine? Is your apology genuine?
Well, it's definitely not authentic. Ribbing is a term both these posts use. Ribbing of the new Justice Secretary, both of them say, which is a very odd phrase to use for both of you doing this. But they both say they were extremely serious issue and there was no ill intent. So it seems to me they've both been given a script. Their teams have been given a script and have both reformatted it slightly. With Shabana Mahmood's one going after the Conservative government instead. Absolutely ludicrous. Ludicrous.
This is not merely a failure of public relations. It is a fundamental breakdown of empathy. When politicians treat systemic justice failures as an insider joke, they reveal an alarming arrogance. They tell us the prisons are overflowing, that their hands are tied, that difficult decisions must be taken for the greater good. Yet their private demeanour suggests something entirely different. A complete lack of gravity regarding the safety of our communities. The public is repeatedly instructed to exercise patience, to accept compromised justice, and to trust that those in power are managing a dire national crisis with utmost solemnity. But how can anyone retain faith in a system when those steering the ship view the releasing of convicted felons as a matter for light-hearted quips? It erodes the foundational contract between the governed and those who govern. We must remain vigilant, refuse to be pacified by generic press releases, and demand that those in high office treat our justice system with the dignity it desperately warrants. Please take a moment to encourage this channel by subscribing right now. It truly helps us stay operational, independent, and dedicated to delivering unvarnished truths. Stay informed, remain critical, and join us again as we continue to uncover what lies beneath.